Hello there, and welcome back to another wonderful day here at MSA. So glad you could join us. Glad to see you. You know, we're just trying to make sense here, America. And I'm telling you what, the challenge is real. The struggle sometimes is unbelievable. I originally recorded this segment last night at about 1:30 in the morning, and I watched it again today, and I thought, it sounded a little too heated there. Probably need to re-record this one. And you're going to understand why. You all know about the immigration problem that we have and what's going on, and Texas challenge, this, that, Biden, all that. Okay, we get it. That's not why I was heated. That bothers me, of course. It should bother you as well. But that's my opinion. Now, 5 people attacked 2 New York police officers. 5 illegal immigrants attacked 2 New York police officers. And I know I say that a little dramatically. And you say, oh, but they come in, they get their visa. Look, if you didn't go through the proper channels to get welcomed into this country, you just showed up and they handed you a piece of paper to go on, that you're not supposed to be here, okay? On top of the fact that when you're here, you're supposed to at least try to participate in becoming an American and doing things more a little bit American. We love cultures. We love people that bring things to the table that teach us about other lands and places and foods and all those kinds of things. We love that stuff. But what we don't like is when you bring your garbage with you. And, these 5 individuals that attacked these 2 police officers, I don't know why they're still here, but some reason they are. So we're going to roll a clip real quick. Try not to get heated on this one, but we're going to roll a clip real quick. And that way you can see exactly what happened. Now, there is violence. Okay, they attacked 2 police officers. So you're going to see violence. There's no, blood and knives, all none of that kind of stuff. So if you don't like seeing that kind of stuff, turn away now. But we're going to roll that clip and let you go ahead and take a look at exactly what happened. And we'll talk to you in just a second. See you in just a minute.
It was a marathon session, 13 hours long. Eventually, Mayorkas called the allegations baseless in a letter to the committee. The next step is an impeachment vote on the House floor.
And as that battle unfolds in Washington, look at this insane video. A group of migrants in New York City are arrested after attacking NYPD officers in Times Square. 5 were arrested, and 4 are already released without bail.
All right, the brawl started when 2 officers were trying to break up a rowdy crowd near a migrant shelter on 42nd Street. While arresting one of the men, the other said, hey, I'm not going to just sit there. I'll jump in. I'll start kicking. I'll start punching the officers. After all, I don't belong in this country anyway. I could beat up an NYPD officer. What'll actually happen? The Manhattan DA's office saying it's investigated the incident as police search for 5 other men involved. Every part of this incident could have been avoided if you didn't allow 67,000 people to call New York home who don't belong here. And what happened is, instead of being grateful, they're creating chaos. They get free food, free laundry. Right. They can do whatever they want, free shelter. And when they start fighting each other and NYPD comes to enforce the law, they beat up the cops.
Right.
Forget you trying to wrap your head around that.
See why it's heated? See that? Complete and utter disrespect. There is no way, shape, or form possible that in portions of my life, the way this country was ran and the respect that people had, that you could get away with doing that to police officers. You couldn't get away with doing that to people, let alone police officers. I mean, come on. These guys attacked these 2. 4 of them were released from jail because the district attorney in New York doesn't prosecute. They're under investigation. What are you investigating? You watched the video. That's not proof enough. I mean, come on. You just release them back in to do what? Go attack other people that aren't police officers, that are innocent victims out there in the United States. Really? What are we doing here? Look, we have an immigration problem, and I get it. And in my opinion, you need to come over here the right way, do the right thing, and that's what it's all about. That's how a lot of people got here. Millions upon millions of people have gotten here that way. This open border thing, we don't know what's coming across. We look at what, you see that and you go, well, yeah, that's kind of a one-off. These guys got excited because one of them's going to go to jail and they went, they saw him grabbing their friend, so they just attacked him. What's next? What's in our country? No one's asking that question loud enough. No one's asking that question hard enough. Is anybody that's going to see this video ever called their congressman before? Send them an email that they're concerned? Because, see, I understand that in this country right now, depending on your political party, you've heard a lot of things that can happen to people when they step out of line. You know, people breaking down your door, kicking things in, you know, going to churches and all that kind of stuff, and arresting people. And what I'm here to tell you is, if you're against this kind of thing, it needs to be heard. We the people is how the document starts that governs this country. We the people, not we the people that get chauffeured to work every day and can possibly pass a bill or make our budgets work or any of that kind of stuff, but they get so convoluted because they have to wash everybody's back and make sure they don't make these people angry and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about we the people that built the country. That's how this country flourished. Our forefathers started this a long time ago. For us, now. This isn't some pipe dream that happened a long time ago and now we just happen to live here. You know, you hear about history for a reason. You have history for a reason. You had people taking down things that were Confederate. Well, Confederate's just another word for Democrat. And if you don't know that, then you're not watching the right history or reading or doing anything. That's a real thing. Did I put anybody down by saying that? No, I didn't. See, that's the other part. People are too sensitive about everything nowadays. But here, let's get a little desensitized because, again, we don't know what's coming across our border. And because we don't know what's coming across the border, we need to maybe take a look at what's coming across the border. So we're going to roll another clip here. It's very short. It's not very long. And there was a gentleman that was at the border the other day. And he starts, you know, there's a reporter there and asks him a question. So he instantly starts doing his thing where if you don't know who I am, you should know who I am, but you're not smart enough to know who I am, and doing all this other kind of nonsense. And we'll get to that in just a second. So we're going to roll this clip, let you see this guy, and then you get to see they found out who he is. So hang on, we'll be right back. Just be right back. And like, share, and subscribe while you're there. You know, while you're sitting there, just kind of click down and help us grow, please. We appreciate you. All right, hold on. Be right back.
Well, tens of thousands of illegal immigrants are pouring across the U.S. southern border every day. Thousands of Chinese nationals were captured on camera over the past few days in the Darien Gap by investigative journalist Michael Yan, who says tens of thousands of Chinese have been passing through the gap on their way into the United States on a regular basis. Separately, last week, a group of illegal Muslim immigrants were confronted by a group of journalists in the United States, asking, where did you come from? You're here in the United States. Who are you? Where did you come from? Here was his response.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're going to know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
The entitlement, guys. Wow.
You will see soon.
So you will know who I am soon enough, he says. Well, that's chilling, and it didn't take reporters very long, actually, to figure out where this guy was from. Turns out this man was allegedly from Azerbaijan, and he'd been in jail for the last 12 years on terrorism charges. Take a look at this.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're going to know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
The entitlement, guys. Wow.
You will see soon.
So there you can see he was arrested 12 years ago for terrorism, organizing explosives among the charges to carry out terrorist attacks, and somehow just released last week on January 19th from prison, and he's already in the United States. What in the world is going on here?
Do you see that? Really? You're not smart enough to know who I am, but soon you will know who I am, because I don't like green eggs and ham, Sam I am. I mean, whatever. The arrogance behind that, it's amazing to me. The amount of arrogance. of someone standing on the border because they're in America, and then come to find out he just did a 12-year stint in prison for terrorism, for bombs? Are you joking? And now he's in our country? What does that tell you? You think he's the only one out of 10 million people? No. It's impossible. The law, statistically, it's impossible. Let alone the law of averages or anything like that. And no, I'm not scaring anybody and all this. It's what I'm doing is just saying, hey, I got woken up a little bit. You should wake up a little bit too. And I'm not saying be paranoid and walk around the city and freak out. Oh my gosh, are you a migrant? Get away from me. What I'm saying is be aware of what's going on around you, because we're got another segment coming up. Be the next one after this. It's going to be talking about some of the ways that people are coming in, meaning how they're getting here and why they're getting here that way, and you'll see why. It's pretty interesting stuff. But before we get into all that, the main message of this whole thing that I'm doing today is really real about the fact that you're attacking New York police officers. You don't belong here to begin with. And yet, bam, you see what's happening? What else has been happening? You keep hearing about the stories all around our country. And yet everybody sits back and they wait for the next YouTube to come out and show you what's going on in the country. And like, who's standing up? Why does Mayorkas still have a job? This guy he's in charge of Homeland Security. Security. What does that mean? Anymore, we're getting so desensitized because people were stealing from stores and just walking in, taking stuff, and cars are getting jacked, people getting beat up, defund the police, doing all this other kind of junk, and we're getting desensitized. And why? Because you're forgetting your American values. You're forgetting what the American dream is. And if we keep allowing the country to do that, then guess what? You think the other foreign leaders are going to not want to forget about America? You better believe they do. You better believe they do. So that's my opinion. And you know what? I mean what I say when I tell you on every segment. I love every one of you. I'm glad you tuned in, and I hope that you're having the best day you possibly can, because when you start getting into all this kind of stuff, it doesn't bring you down. It makes you aware that for some reason we didn't pay attention at some point in time, and now we really need to start. Did you hear me vote in any candidate during this thing? Not one. Did you hear me talk about what's going on in the current administration? No. What you heard me talk about is the problem that we're all facing that needs to be fixed. We need to figure out how we can get involved to fix that. Violence is not an answer, ever. Anybody that's violent, whatever your message is, it's not heard. Okay? Falls on deaf ears because you ruined it. You can't speak when you're hitting something. It doesn't get heard. What gets heard is when you discuss things, when you talk about it, when you bring the real issue to a table and sit down in front of someone that has either an opposing thought or an objective that doesn't quite agree with yours. And that way you can discuss something and make it become real again and hopefully come out with an outcome that makes sense. Instead of criticism that turns around at every turn that someone or some entities try to make something better in this country. We're too far in doing that all the time. We need to stop. We need to help each other out. I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're independent. I don't care if you're Republican. Don't care what it is. We can't help each other out. There is nowhere to sit down and complain about each other because we won't be speaking this language. We won't be in this country. It won't be America anymore. And that's why the Founding Fathers wrote what they wrote, signed it all off, and gave us the opportunity to be free. Because we don't understand what it's like to be suppressed, but we will if we don't pay attention. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox. Like, share, and subscribe. Really hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I do love every one of you that tune into this. Please help this channel grow. We're a small channel. We need to get out there to more people, get the algorithms rolling, and get this thing off the ground. Some of the things that we're saying, I noticed the numbers go down, and I kind of wonder what happens there. It's not for lack of viewers. It's for lack of sharing. So help me out. Okay? Appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you again and again. The next segment is going to be some interesting stuff. You need to tune in. All right? Have a great night, day, whatever it is, wherever you're at. And we'll talk to you later.